friends, I'm Laura and welcome to my channel. I'm so excited you're here, and today we are going to be talking about how to create a life vision so that you can form healthy and reasonable goals moving forward in this crazy year that has been 2020. Like most of you, I'm guessing, the goals that I set back in January aren't really applicable to me anymore. Things aren't going the way I thought they would. I thought it was reasonable. At the time, it was reasonable back in January of starting a small Bible journaling group for local gals who wanted to grow in friendship and in their faith journey together and really establish close-knit friendships with God, with creative time together, and it was going to be fantastic. It was going to be great. I was going to make some really awesome new friends, and I was going to have the creative time, and I was going to have my faith time. I was going to find a new church home. All of these things that I had set as goals, they're not going to happen, at least not this year, because it's no longer safe to meet with strangers in a public place. Trying to get to know them and Bible journaling together and sharing glue sticks and pretty paper pieces and stuff like that. And I went to 2 new churches 3 different times back in January trying to find a new church home. And then again, COVID hit, and I have not been to a church since. I have looked online for a couple of churches, but all that to illustrate the point that a lot of the goals that I had set back in January of 2020, they no longer apply. Most people's lives have changed a lot this year, from the way you go to school to the way you work, where you spend the majority of your time, who you spend the majority of your time with, the way you feel at home, the way your kids go to school. All of these things have shifted dramatically. And in order to move forward and feel like we have hope for the future and really exciting things to look forward to each day when we wake up, it's important that we have some kind of vision of how we're going to move forward and how we are going to create the lives we want for ourselves despite this road bump. And that brings me to my number 1 rule about vision setting and goal setting in this season or in any season, and that is adaptability. Adaptability is a key concept in mental health, and it is so important that when life gives us a roller coaster or a sharp curve, that we are able to adapt, that we aren't rigid and putting our head under the covers and going, no, take me back. I don't want to deal with this new situation. Although that is our natural inclination a lot of times, it's really important that we're able to see a new situation or set of circumstances in front of us and say, okay, what am I going to do now? What are the next steps I need to take? To not be so rigid and think that things have to go the way that we wanted them to or the way that we expected them to in order for us to have a good life. Things will not ever go the way that we planned, hoped, or expected. Life will always throw us curveballs and roller coaster ups and downs. It's just the journey of life that we all go through. And it's really important that when that happens, we don't freak out or shut down. One of my favorite quotes about adaptability is that when you have a goal or a dream, hold it with an open palm, not a closed fist. So that means when life comes along and you had this dream or this goal and the winds are going crazy and the hurricanes going all around you, it's okay if that goal or that vision gets swept away, or maybe it changes and it looks a little bit different. It is okay if you hold it with an open palm. You'll realize, oh, my palm is still open to receive a new vision, and maybe my new vision is going to be even better than what I had thought previously, or maybe these new goals are actually going to lead me in a totally different direction that I didn't know I needed to go, but it turns out I do need to go. And when we're able to hold things with an open palm and just let it sit there, we don't become so overly attached and feeling the need to control it, which is really important because we're not in control a lot of the times. We can only really control ourselves and our reactions. We can't control the world around us. We can't control other people. We can't control circumstances a lot of times. So it's really important to have that visualization of an open palm, because if you have a vision or goals and you hold them in a closed fist, then when the storm comes and you're trying not to let go of that vision or that goal, you are getting twisted around in the wind and you're getting beaten up and you're getting slapped around with debris and rain and wind, and eventually you end up losing yourself or losing the goal or both. So it's really important to think of adaptability in this sort of way, where holding things with an open palm keeps you happier and it keeps you safer, and it just makes for a happier, healthier, more hopeful outlook on life. And that is because you are adaptable. You are open to the idea that things might change and your priorities might change. Your vision or your goals might change, and that's okay. And there are 2 phrases that you can use to help with adaptability. So when things don't go the way that you wanted, the first phrase that I love to repeat, and this has been a game changer for me the last year, is if not this, then better. And that means that this vision, this goal, if that one's not for me right now, if it's getting swept away and life just throws it off and it's not happening, well, if not this, there's something even better out there for me that I didn't know about, that I hadn't even dreamed up yet, that I can't see or I can't imagine right now, but it's going to be even better. And so just constantly using that phrase, if not this, then better, has really helped me detach from the need to control and the need for things to go exactly how I wanted them to, and to really help me be adaptable, especially through this season of life changing for everybody. So that is one wonderful phrase you can do to help yourself be more adaptable with your vision and your goals moving forward through this season. The second phrase that I like to do, and it is really just a reminder to myself, I'm not in control and I'm not supposed to be. And that for me just takes this big weight off of my chest and my shoulders and helps me breathe again. I'm not in control and I'm not supposed to be. It is God or the universe or whatever you believe in, whatever makes you feel hopeful for the future. That is the control aspect. And for me, that's Christianity, faith in God and Jesus, and having this vision moving forward in life that things are going to be even better than I had planned. And I can have that hope because even though I'm not in control, I was never meant to be in control. It's okay if things change. That's not my burden to bear. I am not the waymaker. I am not the miracle worker. I'm not meant to be in control. I'm meant to hold things with an open hand, and if it gets swept away, it is up to me to have that hopeful outlook and that mental reassurance using this phrase that I'm not in control and I'm not supposed to be. And that really leaves room for life to work its magic and for God to work his miracles and for new things to come into your life and new goals and new visions and new people and new pets if you're like me in this season. And it really leaves room for things to happen because you're not in control and you're not supposed to be. Because if not that thing that you had thought of, it's going to be even better. So those are 2 phrases that you can use, and I will tell you it does take some getting used to in the beginning. The first time you use this phrase, it's not going to magically change your world. But if any time you get thrown off track or you start to feel resistance, like, no, stop changing, I wanted things to go this way, you could just repeat one of those phrases and really work on envisioning that if not this, then something even better is going to come for me, or I'm not in control and I'm not supposed to be. And both of those phrases will really help take the anxiety and the weight off of yourself. So those are my tips for being adaptable in this season. And I really encourage you to work on adaptability, because that is your number one most important, highest priority goal to have a good life vision or goals moving forward in this season. You're really going to want to be adaptable and realize that things will probably keep changing, and it's okay. So really having that hope that, if we're not in control and things don't work out the way that we want them to, then having that hope that things will get better and that there are better things out there for us, it's going to be your number one friend. Just keeping that positive outlook on life. And I know it's hard. This is something I've spent 10 years working on through depression, generalized anxiety disorder, unexplained female infertility for the last 10 years, a divorce, all these crazy ups and downs in life and struggles and trauma that I have been through have really helped me take on this point of view, because I've realized it is the healthiest point of view that I can possibly have in life, and it keeps me happier, more hopeful, less anxious, and it's really good to be adaptable when things change, because inevitably they will. So now that we have talked about the number one rule for creating a new life vision or goal moving forward, let's talk about how we're actually going to set some goals right now and create a vision for our life moving forward in this season. Now, if you had goals at the beginning of the year like me and they're not going to work out, what I want you to do, instead of holding on to that goal really tight and thinking that it had to work out that way, try to think of the feelings that you really wanted out of that goal. So maybe you wanted to run a major marathon, and that's no longer going to happen because social distancing and all of that, and no crowded places, etc., no gyms open, that sort of thing. So maybe this marathon isn't going to happen. Think about the feeling that you were trying to achieve when you had set that goal. Maybe you wanted to feel healthy, or maybe you wanted to feel strong or capable. Think about that feeling that you were trying to achieve with that original goal or vision, and realize that you can still achieve that feeling with a different task, goal, or vision. For example, at the beginning of this year, when I had set my goal about my small Bible journaling group with local friends, the feelings I was trying to obtain from that goal was a sense of belonging and being loved and having a strong support system that was there for me, that I was there for. I wanted to feel like I was part of the community, and I wanted to feel like I made a difference in other people's lives and they made a difference in mine, and I wanted to feel loved. And I had to realize that those feelings I wanted to achieve, because they're not going to happen in that particular way this year, they can still happen in a different way. So my boyfriend of 7 years, who's no longer my boyfriend, he is my fiance, he proposed back in June, and the proposal came with a kitten. Another cat since Oreo passed has been something I have just held near and dear to my heart for so long. And my partner was not on board with it at all, and the gesture of getting me a cat for the proposal and for our lives moving forward, and him opening up this door for our future together, saying, I really don't want a cat, but I love you so much that I got us one, and I'm okay with it, and I am going to take the burden of not wanting a cat and having a cat, because you love it so much and it makes you feel so happy and so loved and so hopeful in life. And I realized that that feeling I wanted to achieve, I could get it in a different way. I could focus on the things that had happened and the things that are going to be happening in my future to obtain those same feelings of loving and belonging, community, friendship, support system, and really focusing on, oh my gosh, my fiance loves me that much, and I belong to a family that strong that we now have 4 pets together. Really focusing on that vision. How can I have a strong support system right now and feel loving and belonging and feel like my faith is growing? All those things that I would have felt with that vision of the small group, I can have right now. Just looking at my cat sleeping or cuddling up next to me, I feel so loved and appreciated and needed. And thinking about my fiance, I feel like I am building a strong support system around me and that I am valuable to other people. Another thing I started doing to work on this feeling of community and friendship was that when I do shop right now, I really try to shop local. I think any money that I'm spending, if I can put it back into our local small businesses, it's going to make such a big difference for them, for that person in my community, my neighbor, the person down the street, the person who lives 10 miles away from me. It's going to enable them to keep their businesses open and put food on their tables for their families and keep their employees employed and give them a feeling of hopefulness and purpose in this season when there's a lot of struggle for small businesses. And making sure that I am spending my money that way first, if it's an option, has really helped me feel like I am part of this community locally, which is what I wanted with a small group. Another thing I've been doing to achieve that feeling is any small business I can think of that I have shopped in the last year, I am leaving glowing Google reviews for, to try to get other people in the community to spend their money there. So all those feelings I was trying to achieve with the goal of the small local Bible journaling group, I can achieve through a new vision and new goals, focusing on the relationship I'm establishing with my fiance as we move towards marriage together and how we want our marriage to look like and the steps that we're going to take soon to make sure that we start our marriage off the way that we want to. I can focus on how I'm showing up with my pets to feel loved and important and needed. I can make it a goal to shop local whenever I do need to shop and really support my neighbors and friends in the community, building friendships that way, making them feel important, and help securing their future through these crazy times too, by spending money there, by supporting them, by leaving Google reviews to get other people in the community supporting them. Doing things like that will help me achieve the feelings of loving, belonging, a strong support system that I was trying to achieve with that other goal. So because I was adaptable, I was able to change the area I'm focused on and find new goals and a new vision for how I'm going to achieve those feelings. Another mental self-talk quote that you can use throughout this process is, if not now, later. So that Bible journaling group, that idea of a really strong group of tight-knit girlfriends who loved getting creative in their Bible together and meeting up every Sunday and supporting each other and just being really rooted in their faith and supportive of one another, that vision that I had, just because it got swept away, it doesn't mean it's never going to come back to me. If not now, then later. And until then, I can change my focus and achieve those feelings through a different goal or a different vision. Just because this isn't going to happen for me right now doesn't mean it won't ever. So I really want you to get down to the root of your vision and the goals that you had set at the beginning of the year. Or if you didn't set goals at the beginning of the year, I really want you to think about, how do I want to feel? What's lacking right now? What am I trying to achieve? Why do I feel exhausted? Is it because I feel like I'm not chasing a passion? Is it because I feel like I don't have a strong support system? Maybe I just feel dull because the space around me is not making me feel energized and lively. I've been sitting in the same house for 6 months and I haven't left. That is COVID. And, thinking, how am I feeling right now? How do I want to feel? And what are some reasonable goals that will help bridge that gap from how I am feeling to how I want to feel? So, for example, one quick illustration of how I have done this lately was, I want to feel like I'm surrounded by beauty, and my fiance and I went to the mountains to look at some wedding venues, and I fell in love with this tiny little town on this gorgeous lake in North Carolina in the mountains. There's like panoramic 360 mountain views on the lake. It's stunning, and that local small community there, they have also really landscaped the area, and there are beautiful rose bushes everywhere and flowering gardens everywhere. And I decided at that point, ooh, I really want to live in this town. It's 2.5 hours from where we live right now. And I was like, this is my goal. I want to like get a house here and live here. But that's not going to happen. I'm a student in graduate school. It's going to be a few years before I'm into my career as a clinical mental health counselor. I'm still establishing my new business as a person who helps women with their mental health. I'm really focusing on establishing that business. So I'm not going to have the kind of revenue it takes to buy a new house up in the mountains on a lake somewhere. That's just not reasonable in the next few years for me to have that vision and think this needs to happen right now. You know, I need to finish college. I need to really get established in my career, and then I will be working towards that goal. So I was thinking, that vision that I had and that goal that I had that's not reasonable right now, how can I break it down and make it reasonable? Well, the feeling that I was trying to achieve was that I was surrounded by beauty and God's beautiful creation. And what's a small way that I can make home feel like that? And I can make my home feel like a retreat and like an oasis, and make it feel like my sanctuary where I feel God's beauty and creation all around me. So one thing that I have been able to do on my budget and within these crazy times right now while I'm a student in school is I have been able to buy a couple plants and put them in the spaces where I'm spending so much time in. And I just feel so vibrant in my craft room. For example, I've got 2 beautiful plants growing in the window there. I've got a beautiful trailing vine on my shelf in my craft room that I'm looking at right now. This one's a fake plant because this corner does not get enough light for a real plant, and it would be really hard to water a plant up there. And that was just using supplies that I already had on hand. These were things that I had bought for a DIY last year, and I ended up taking apart that floral arrangement and making it look more like a greenery from a hanging vase. So that was a free DIY using things I already had on hand. And then I spent a little bit of money at a local plant shop, shopping small business, and I was able to get excited about my space again and feel like I'm surrounded by nature and beauty. And I'm starting to get into gardening right now and really thinking about that goal that I wanted. How can I break it down and make it reasonable for this set of circumstances right now that we're living in? And for me, it's about making home feel like a sanctuary and making it feel like I'm surrounded by God's beauty and creation all the time. And I can do that through plants and gardening and getting my hands in the soil. I can do that by pulling weeds in the backyard. I can do that by just trimming up a couple of bushes. I'm not going to be living in the mountains on this gorgeous lake in these very expensive houses. That's just not going to happen anytime soon. I'm going to be living in Charlotte for a while, where I go to school, where I'm establishing a career. And it's going to be really expensive to buy a second house or to sell this house and move to a retreat-like small town that makes their money off of being in the mountains and being in a gorgeous location. It's just going to cost more. So I can take the aspects of that I love so much and make it achievable by saying, in our current set of circumstances, I can't take mountain vacations every weekend. I can go once every 6 months while we do our wedding stuff and we pick out like a venue, things like that. And I can buy some plants and put them around my home. I can do some DIYs. I can declutter, which makes me feel like there's more open space. I can open the windows when it cools down in the fall. I'm so excited for that. And just really taking a goal that you had or a vision that you had and breaking it down to something that's reasonable in our current set of circumstances. And being able to do that is going to help you come up with a life vision and goals moving forward in 2020 that really excite you and make you feel so good and energized and like you are working towards something again, and that things are going to get better and they're going to be amazing, and that you actually can make progress towards that right now. So those are my major tips for resetting your vision, your life vision, your annual vision, your goals in this season. Things have really changed a lot, and it is very important that one, we be adaptable. Hold your vision and your goals with an open palm, not a closed fist. Really focus on that self-talk and reminding yourself, if not that, then it's going to be even better. And I'm not in control, and I'm not meant to be. It's not my burden to bear. Making sure that you can adapt is going to be your biggest friend. Breaking down a vision or a goal that you did have and trying to figure out what feelings were you trying to achieve with that goal. Or if you hadn't set goals before, thinking, how am I feeling right now and how do I want to feel? And then coming up with ways that you can achieve that feeling that are reasonable in our current set of circumstances. Being able to create reasonable goals, like buying a couple of small plants instead of moving, something like that. That's just my example that I've been doing. Making reasonable goals in this season for the set of circumstances that you are in right now, it's going to be a game changer for you. Really focusing on reasonable achievement is going to help you wake up with that sense of purpose and hopefulness that you actually can work towards that goal, because it's a reasonable goal. It's totally achievable for you to feel like you are in an oasis when you're at home, or like you're in a sanctuary when you're at home. Maybe it just means cleaning off your bathroom counter and putting a candle on the edge of the bathtub. Maybe it's adding a couple of plants to your space. That was my goal, is feeling like I'm in a beautiful oasis of God's nature. And I broke it down into something reasonable that I can achieve at home. And so finding a way to take those feelings you want and evaluate how you might be able to achieve them through a different goal, and creating goals and a vision that are reasonable for these circumstances that are constantly changing right now, and then being adaptable for the changes that have happened and the changes that are going to happen. Those are going to be your major life changers in this season of COVID. I hope you are feeling inspired and empowered to come up with a new vision for yourself, for your year, for your season, for your life, and to come up with some new goals that are reasonable in this season to make you feel hopeful again, and to make you feel like you are working towards something, that you are bettering your life, you are working towards the feelings that you want to feel each day, and that you're able to take reasonable steps towards that each day. It's going to help you feel more energized in life. It's going to help you feel more hopeful about the future. You're going to wake up and realize, oh yeah, I do have a purpose today. It's really going to help you in this season to feel uplifted, and a life vision and annual goals or seasonal goals are so good because they give you something to work towards. They help you see progress that you're making, and they give you something to look forward to. So I really hope you are feeling inspired and encouraged right now to focus on your mental health through having a vision and creating goals, through being adaptable and creating reasonable goals in this season and these circumstances. I love you so much. It is truly my heart's mission to help women in their mental health journey and to help them create the best lives for themselves that they can, and to really focus on how can they feel the way they want to feel in life and have the life that they want to have, and to just live well and heal insecurities and trauma and have a strong, robust mental health and support system. And I want to be that for you. So I hope that these tips have helped you feel supported and encouraged. I hope you are taking action with me. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel to see the creative things that I'm going to be doing around my home and my craft room, and how I really take mental health tips and techniques and and creativity, and I combine them to really focus on improving our mental health through creative avenues like having a life vision. I am coming out with a video right after this one, so make sure you're subscribed, make sure you're checking my channel for when that is uploaded, where I am creating a new vision board for the vision that I have moving forward. Because the vision board I made back in January, it's not going to happen anymore. That vision's no longer reasonable, and I had to adapt. So we are doing a crafting vision board party tonight, and I'm so excited to do that with you. Let's get crafty. Grab a notebook and some pictures from Pinterest or a magazine or just a journaling pen. Grab a cork board. I'll be working with a small cork board, and I'm gonna get excited about creating a vision board together. That way we have a daily reminder and that creative artistic outlet to really focus on this vision that we're creating moving forward and these goals that we're going to be focusing on as we move forward in this season. I love you so much, ladies, and I hope you are subscribed. Like this video, leave me a comment down below. It is so helpful and rejuvenating to my soul when I hear that something has been helpful for you. So please take a second, leave a comment down below, share it with your friends if you think they would benefit, or with a family member if you think they would benefit from this encouragement. And I hope this helps your mental health in this season and gives you something hopeful to look forward to and to be energized about and to be working towards. You are important, you matter, and I love you. Bye.